Hi, I'm Danny Butler. This week we're in the barn because it's raining, UK, and we found some things. We've had a barn finds, and this is TrialTube. Well, hello there. Now, this week we've done something a little bit different. Normally it's new bike, but I'll throw the stone in a minute. But we've been able to find a few bikes. Now, these bikes are a little bit special. Never worked with dogs and animals. Oh my God, you're soaked. No. We've acquired a couple of bikes, and we're going to show you each end of the scale of what you can find when you're really trying to look or accidentally stumble across something. Now, we're going to introduce a couple of bikes in a second that, honestly, if you are or were around in the 90s, these two bikes were iconic. They weren't your average bike. They weren't the bike that you saw all the time. One of them was one of the more expensive bikes of the time, and the other one was a bit of an unsung hero. Now, you can pick these bikes up nowadays for as little or as much as you like, and you can get some bargains. One of these is a genuine barn find, and the other one lived in a shed for almost 22 years. Obviously, we've got a TYZ 250 1994, which we're going to talk about, but I feel like it needs its own introduction.
Okay, let's party.
So the 1994 Yamaha TYZ Purple Edition, and that's what we're going to go with. This bike, famously ridden by Rob Crawford in the British Championship and World Championship rounds. Believe it or not, I was actually watching the reviews, because there's also those kind of videos on YouTube. Not as good as ours, obviously. And in said British Championship, Rob actually won 3 out of God knows how many rounds there were that year. I think there was 8 rounds, but 3 of them were actually won by a bike like this, against riders like Steve Colley, Doug Lampkin, and a bunch of other people that were riding bikes that were just genuinely lighter, maybe? Was up against bikes such as the Beta Techno, the 1994, but then during that season, early doors, the 1995 JT Gas, ridden by riders like Steve Saunders. Genuinely, this bike, although not cheap, coming in at a moderate £4,500 in 1994, because we actually have the original bill of sale for this bike came with Yamaha's own suspension, Yamaha's own engine, Yamaha's own Volucci style frame, similar to either Beta Techno, but also a lot more robust, as this frame was actually taken off a YZM motocross bike and then sort of, shall we say, retrofitted to the trials bike, but definitely still made just for trials. It had a completely new water-cooled engine. but was still running the very same forks as a TY Pinky up front, meant they were basically like riding a blancmange, super soft. Same front disc, which was big, but it worked, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that was the TYZ and Yamaha's motto with this bike. An obscene amount of aluminium, a front headlight that truly got in the way constantly, but I'm not gonna lie, working on this bike is a joy, a pleasure, and it's easy because, well, it all just works. Talon provided things like the unique style wheels, DID rims, a Talon rear sprocket in purple. It came with rental bars that were purple that I've actually taken off this bike to save them for nostalgic reasons, and they sort of still had a seat. Sort of. Believe it or not, this bike actually became the benchmark for finishing the Scottish 6-day. If you entered on a TYZ, unless you did something bonkers down the line over the 6 days, you would finish on the TYZ, solely for the fact that the bike was just that good. One of the pitfalls of this bike was the fact that at the same time, Gas and Beta and a few other brands, including Aprilia, all swapped over to a hydraulic clutch. This was one of the only bikes to stay with the cable clutch until, well, it basically got outmoded in 1997, where in 1998 the bike sort of died off, solely because of the fact that, well, it was just a little bit outdated. But I tell you now, you can still buy one in 1997, ride it well, it had this funny sound to it, and you know what? You just weren't going to find a better bike, quality-wise. Now these two bikes are very special for two different reasons. We've got the Aprilia Climber, which is the 240 as I mentioned. Now this bike, parked up in 1997, we actually bought this and have done nothing to it, bar putting some fresh fuel in it. And what you've just seen is the bike firing up. And on the other hand, we've got a TYZ, which was a barn find, but it's got less than 400 miles on the clock. And yeah, we had to flush through some fresh fuel and we changed the gearbox oil, and that was it. And I actually rode this bike a little less than a week ago in a trial. The only problem really I had with it was the fact that when I put it in gear, the clutch didn't engage for a few minutes, but then after riding it around with the clutch in, all of a sudden it miraculously worked. So one, as new, one, I think was once new. Crying out loud. Wow. Oh, go on. But we're not going to take anything away from this little bike. In a minute we're going to ride a section on both bikes. The section may differ a little bit for the bike that works, but I'm going to do my best to keep this running. Because, yes, by spending not a lot of money, you do get a few problems. And there are a few problems with this bike. But we're yet to fix them. And I'm just going to see if by spending just under £500, can you get a bike that you can get through sections and still enjoy the sport of trials? I already feel like the answer is yes. Now, I'm going to set a section. Obviously I'm indoors, we've got a certain amount of room and we've got a certain amount of stuff. The weather's horrendous, so we're doing it indoors. By the way, I'm introducing this section specifically for the person who commented saying that I shouldn't talk so much and I should just make it quick cuts of riding and basically shorten TrialTube and just completely change what we're doing so that makes him happy. No, just going to do my own thing again. Okay, let's fire her up. First part of the section is up this little step, around the corner, and then off the drop-off. The drop-off is just a bit too big to catch the sump, but these 90s bikes had some good clearance. Oh, and a lot of compression. Right, here we go. 90s style. I wish I had some purple kit. Obviously the rider of the TYZ was Rob Crawford, and he was famous for, shall we say, his personality and his voice. Right, here we go. Up this first part, nice and steady. This clutch feels amazing, by the way, and the suspension feels so smooth. Big body to get this round. Obviously, people did a lot of hopping, but it looked like hard work because it was. Let's be honest, it was hard work. Here we go. Oh yes, look at them front forks. Right, off the drop off and into the next part. First gear. Like I say, this TYZ actually feels like the day it came out of the box. But that breathy, inducted sort of, I don't know how to describe the sound of a TYZ, but it sounds like a TYZ. So here we go, off the back now. They've got such a really nice level of grip, but they are heavy. And off a little drop off. So in we come. Oh, look at that front suspension. I'm not saying that it's saggy at the time, but woohoo! I'm not that heavy. Nice and steady into this corner for a little turnaround. In the 90s, they were hopping, so let's try a bit of that hopping. So I'll try and get this beast around now. Oh yeah, she's light. The brakes, seeing as they were parked up for so long, actually work quite well. Now, this step isn't small. It's not big, but it's not small. And I'm right in front of it, so we're going to go for second. Listen to that roar. Now, you're not going to believe this, but although it sounds a bit breathy, there's a lot of power out of this TYZ. Said, whatever. Oh. That's a clean for the TYZ, which felt like that was really easy. I'm not going to lie, it was easy to ride. The brakes sort of worked. With suspension, although slow, is comfortable. It's the kind of bike that you'd ride around the Scottish 6 days whilst having a chat to your mate. But then in the sections, you wouldn't be chatting to anybody, because if this big heavy lump got away from you, it would probably kill you. Big shout out to the boys that rode the Scottish this year on a TYZ. Again, proving that real men still exist. It's not a sexist thing, that's just, you know, a generation thing. Whew. Right, the Aprilia then. Just so you know, the Aprilia's clutch does not work and the brakes do not work. So, this will be interesting. I'm not saying the clutch is a bit mental. Right, here we go. Right, come on Aprilia. Oh my God. The suspension's absolutely shafted. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get off here. Oh, here we go. Trying to keep it running. Nice and wide. Yes! Oh, let's see if we can get this bomb fine round here now. I'm going to try and keep it running as well. I don't think it'll hop because the brakes don't work. But... oh my God! Let's use a TrialTube Plus. Oh, he's going lined up! Can he get it up there? I have no idea, I'm so scared. He's up, it's a 3! Tell you what, that was an extreme sport. I've got a clutch that wants to kill me, brakes that don't work. To get it to stop there, I think I just broke lever in half. I'm shattered. I could do some talking now if I wasn't so tired. Somebody will be like, who's been eating all the pies then? No, it's a puffer jacket and I'm not trying to imitate the Michelin Man. Now, This bike is available to buy after such an amazing advertisement there from me. Not only does it run, it's retro, and as you ride it, you get a feeling of elation just by being able to pull off. I said pull off, not get pulled off. Now, honestly, I do like an Aprilia climber. The 280R version is famously a monster. And this is a monster for a bunch of different reasons. Such as, if you want to stop, you might not. The tyres have got that ventilated look to them. And by ventilated, I mean cracked. The brake pads are in there somewhere. And the suspension is absolutely solid. Apart from all that, I really rate it as a good bike. So if you do find one out there, buy it. This one, believe it or not, cost us just under 500 English pounds. That's a lot of bike, isn't it, for 500 quid? Can't even get a PlayStation for that much. What am I on about? You can't even get a PlayStation. Right, let's go. Oh, by the way, this week's advert is for the mighty TrialTube Plus. Now, when we talk about TrialTube Plus, we're on about our new online tuition service. Basically, go to the TrialTube website, www.trialtube.co.uk, and you can find yourself already 3 episodes of TrialTube Plus, where you can learn to pull off and get grip, your cornering can improve, and also we're going to be talking about getting it up. That's right, the wheelie. And it's about getting it up and keeping it up, ladies and gents. But it's nice and cheap as chips, at £4.50 an episode, or you can just subscribe to our newsletter and find out when every new one comes out. You can improve your riding from the comfort of your own settee, just like you are right now watching TrialTube. So tune in to TrialTube Plus and we can get you to the next step of your riding career. Drench will go up. I think she's on. Thanks for watching TrialTube. After getting this bike up that step, I am truly happy with myself. Now, the 2 bikes that we had on today, the Aprilia is for sale, of course, but the TYZ is mine. It's my bike. No, you can't have it. I've already been offered a few large sums of money for it. For a TYZ in this condition, in this colour, in this condition, in this colour. You can have your blue TYZs, but nobody remembers the blue one. Everybody remembers the one with the purple rims. That's right. I could have made a joke then, but I didn't, because I'm really mature. No. Remember to like, share and subscribe, as always. I do love a TYZ. I've got a soft spot in my heart for them. I said heart, not art. And this bike has made me smile from the second we kicked it up, after it hadn't ran for 27 years. But it'll be coming back on the channel a bit more. You may also see it on TrialTube Plus. Remember, you can actually get taught over the internet. Well, so I've been told by the reviews. That's right, we've had some people tell me how good the reviews are, well, how good the episodes are of TrialTube Plus. So get involved. Even if you download one and you don't like it, just because you don't like me, that's okay. I won't take it personally much. And as always, I'll see you next time. Right, babe, we're off. No, don't worry about it. We've just got rid of that horrible Aprilia. It's over there asleep. Listen to this. She'll fire because she's mint. I have to try. I love this bike.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.